took place in 1944 at the Port Chicago Naval Magazine in California, killing 320 black sailors. Most people think the first testing took place a year later in 1945 in New Mexico, but that's just not the case. Port Chicago served as a final munitions depot for vessels about to enter into the Pacific Theater. Black sailors at the time were given the menial labor jobs and were required to offload and store munitions, even though none of them had been trained in how to handle munitions. By the evening of July 17th, they had loaded 4,600 tons of explosives. The sailors had been told that none of the munitions were live, and since they had no fuses, they couldn't detonate, but that was incorrect. At 10:18 p.m., witnesses reported hearing a noise that was described as a metallic sound and rending timbers, such as the sound of a falling boom. The results were catastrophic. Most of the port and even the surrounding town was severely damaged. Then we start tracking who was in charge at the time. Franklin D. Roosevelt was the president. And since the CIA wasn't created until 3 years later, the FBI would have been involved with something like this. There's the head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, and his boyfriend Tolson. And since many eyewitnesses saw a mushroom cloud over the port, it's said that this was the first nuclear bomb testing. Listen, if you don't think our country hasn't done testing on unaware black people, or destroying things they've built, then this is probably what you see when you wake up, because you're living in a fantasy world.